What's going on, TikTok? What's going on, everybody? It's been months since I've been live on here. I usually don't go live on TikTok or Instagram like I used to back in the day, but it's all good in the neighborhood. Hopefully, everybody's doing well. This is a rant session. I usually don't have that much time to do rants like that anymore because everybody has to be at work 40 hours a week again because the world has transitioned back to from 2025 to 1985, so it's all good. Anyway, so at the end of the day, this rant is basically the luxury that most regular working everyday people cannot afford anymore because things are so expensive right now. And whatever your political affiliations with are, I really don't care. I don't do politics. I do economics. So let me start off with that. For me, it's like I look at the last 2 to 3 years, things have gotten way more expensive and they've just intensified. Inflation has outpaced wages, cost of living. And then bear in mind, most regular, everyday working Americans are just not financially astute, or they don't think about money in the way outside of just make the money, spend the money, make the money, spend the money. The mindset of, hey, try to be as frugal as possible. Do not overindulge. It's not it's not really a part of American culture to not overindulge. We overindulge on food, we overindulge on social media, we overindulge on money, we overindulge on consumption. That's just what we do. That's the American way. For good or worse or bad, whatever, however you may feel about it, that's your decision to make. It's not my decision to make. But I will say at the end of the day that we are definitely right now living in a time where overindulging certain things are now, especially during the pandemic, certain things were considered to be a luxury, but now they really are because of inflation and because of certain people losing their jobs and the cost of living just catching up with people. Because you remember during the pandemic, money was being flooded throughout the economy, whether it was via government entities, whether it was done with specific businesses and things of that nature. Money was flowing. People weren't really worried about the cost of living that much back then. I say by 2023, the cost of living is really caught up with a lot of people. And at the end of the day, things like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Uber Eats, things of that nature are starting to be looked at as a luxury because, yes, they are a very convenient service. It's like, hey, you can physically go to these specific locations to pick up your food. But it's like a great example with Amazon delivery when it came to Amazon fresh orders. A lot of people do not indulge in doing that anymore because the delivery fees went up after the pandemic. Now, during the pandemic, the fees weren't as high as they are now. But now that the pandemic has been over for a while now, the fees have gone up. So it's just like, do I go to the grocery store or do I utilize Amazon Fresh and pay a $10 to $12 delivery fee? That's on you. Me, I'd rather just go to go to the grocery store and just get the food myself. Why pay the delivery fee, then pay for the tip and things of that nature? Only time I utilize Uber is if I'm stuck in a bind where I'm stuck somewhere and I need to go out. Say if my car breaks down, I need to get my car fixed, or I'm at the airport and I'm like, nobody can pick me up. So, hey, I get an Uber driver. He or she picks me up, takes me home, or takes me to the airport. It's all good in the neighborhood. Shout out to the Uber drivers. I've had good luck with having great Uber drivers. Shout out to all the people who are part of the gig economy, people who are 1099 self-employed contractors with all these different services that I just mentioned earlier. People got to make a living. People got to make a little extra money nowadays. So shout out to anybody who's getting it, however you get it. Shout out to people that are being able to write off a lot more things, specifically their car on their taxes, because, today is tax day. Shout out to all the tax professionals out there. Shout out to anybody who got a refund, because that's becoming far and few in between, especially for people who even make a six-figure salary nowadays. A guy that I was listening to on YouTube today, he was talking about he said in 2024 was the first time he made six figures. It's because he was monetized on YouTube, monetized on other social media platforms, and connecting that with his job, and he's able to write off anything as possible, and he still ended up owing $20,000 to the government between the state that he lives in, which is Florida, and the federal government. I said, wow, that's crazy, bro. But anyways, I digress. But at the end of the day, it's like I said, it's not only interesting that these things are luxuries nowadays, i.e., food services, utilizing Grubhub, Uber Eats, DoorDash, Lyft, Uber. But dating is a luxury. Now, a lot of people, we was having this conversation last night. One of my friends slash coworkers, he's a U.S. Navy reservist. He's going to deploy overseas for 10 months. And so nothing but love and respect to him. Shout out to all the service members, current and prior service members. It was just interesting because we were talking about how, everybody had their tab. We went to Maggiano's, then we went to Dave & Buster's for drinks afterwards, which I haven't been to Dave & Buster's in a while, but I guess I know I'm a grown man now because I'm just like, the drinks were just not on point at Dave & Buster's, but nothing against the staff there because they were amazing. But anyways, I digress. So we were engaged in conversation in regards to, hey, dating. It's is it considered a luxury nowadays? And one would most likely say yes, because unless you're going to IHOP, Applebee's, or TGI Fridays, 9 times out of 10, if you go on a date with somebody, you're going to end up spending $80 to $100 or more on the tab. Now, am I complaining about this? Absolutely not. I can afford that. I think most reasonable working people can afford that. However, if it's a constant thing, that number adds up. If you're doing it 4 times a month, well, hey, you don't spend over $400. You know what I'm saying? And that's money that could have went towards bills, paying down credit card debt. That's money that could have went into your savings. That's money that could have went towards food, et cetera, and so forth. So because I've seen online, a lot of ladies have talked about, how men will not take any, they will not take a female out. They just want you to pull up, i.e., they just want you to have sex with them. But they won't even take you out on a regular date, show up with flowers, be chivalrous in regards to opening doors. Hey, how you doing? Things of that nature. I did not realize we were living in such a culture right now, where just straight up, and Deion Cole the comedian made this joke in regards to, the guys would be like, hey, the woman was like, hey, you gonna take me out? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna give you this, you know what? And I didn't realize we lived in such a culture where just talking about sex, and not being able to engage in adult conversation before one wanted to even get to that level was such a big thing. But I will say with all sincerity, though, and I've said this 1,000 times, a woman can't get mad and a man can't get mad at somebody to getting to the point of what they truly want. It's up to you to say, I'm cool with that or I'm not. Because you need to be able to, one thing specifically in 2025, appreciate somebody being honest with who the hell they are. Because there's so many fake people out in this world that it's not even funny. Okay, there's so many fake people, especially in social media. There's so many fake people in this world in regards to trying to portray something that they're not. It's the most entertaining. That's probably the most entertaining thing that you will find on social media. So I'll leave it at that. But yeah, dating is a luxury because being outside is expensive. Okay. Like even if you go to a fast food place, you're gonna end up spending for yourself up to $15. There used to be a time where you could spend up to $3 to $5 on a meal at a fast food joint. Now you're gonna spend up to at least 15 to 20 bucks on a meal at a fast food joint. That's probably not even gonna be the best, and darn sure isn't healthy for you. So that's just something to put into perspective. But yeah, so ladies, if a man is being chivalrous to you, if he's taking you out on a nice date, being kind to you, just be thankful for that nowadays. Because I've heard so many young guys saying I'm not doing that nonsense because it's just too much money. It's too expensive. I'm not taking no more females out. I'm done with dating. And that's another thing that's a growing trend. More and more people are just done with dating. I get it. I respect it. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, these are the things that are becoming luxuries now, and they're not just a norm. Going out to eat, going out to the movies, utilizing the gig economy services, i.e. Uber, i.e. DoorDash, Grubhub, etc., and so forth, becoming more and more of a luxury because things are so expensive. On myself, I spent $122 today on groceries between going to a mediocre grocery store into the Dollar Tree. So, and that's just for 1 week. So you add it up for 4 weeks out of the month, you do the math. You know what I mean? That's almost up to $500. So with that being said, yes, dating has become a luxury. So people should choose wisely in regards to who they take out nowadays because, well, one, people can be crazy as you know what, so you got to be careful on that aspect. But on the other aspect, you got to say to yourself, is this person worth $100 to $150 to take out to dinner? Only you can answer that question. I cannot. But that has become a luxury because of the cost of inflation. The food hall in my town in the DMV area is probably the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my life because when I passed by it last Saturday, I noticed more and more people were not outside. I mean, not in that specific food hall where this is the place people are supposed to come gather, eat, listen to some good music. They weren't there. Why? Because they're bored with it. Or they feel like if they're going to spend that kind of money, it has to be on a place that it's really worth it. So that's why I would say you see all these chain restaurants that are closing down because people are just like, well, the food is mediocre, number one, and the experience isn't really worth dealing with, i.e. Chipotle, TGI Fridays. A lot of chain restaurants are closing down now because, the economy is not what it used to be. People don't go out as much as it used to be. And then another thing is, to be perfectly honest, the best restaurants to go out to eat are the mom and pop restaurants. The chain restaurants are usually not the best experiences as they used to be anymore. But that's just my personal opinion. I leave it at that. Everybody has their own thing. It is what it is. But anyways, on that note, that's all I got. Being outside, I think I'm just going to title this "Being Outside is a Luxury" nowadays. So you have to act accordingly, and the people that you're going to be outside with, make sure that you really enjoy the company. People that you take on a date, make sure you really enjoy the company. Make sure you're trying to build something because, let's be realistic. We live in the age of OnlyFans and social media, so if you're just really trying to get some man or woman, you can pay for it and call it a day. Do I condone that behavior? Absolutely not. But hey, you have options out in this world, and if your money's right and if your money's tight, then everything for the most part is going to be all right. I'll leave it at that. All right, so like I said, it's been a minute since I've been live on here, but hey, maybe I'll do it more in the future. But do the great thiefy things, like, share, subscribe. Have a great day. Please subscribe to my YouTube, Larry's Anything Goes, LLC. Once again, Larry's Anything Goes, LLC. If you want to contribute to the channel, links will be in the description from PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, all that good stuff. Always greatly appreciated, but nothing but love and respect. Have a great evening, as they say in Spanish. Bienvenido a la vida. Welcome to the life.